I'm Philip Duncan with your special 7-day Pacific Islands weather update brought to you by WeatherWatchTV on YouTube. Well, there is a new low forming north of Vanuatu. It could be another tropical cyclone. It is up here, just starting to form. You can barely see it on the maps at the moment, but there is a low pressure zone in that area. Otherwise, the wind map, which shows temperatures today as well, shows pretty much traditional weather carrying on. The easterly flow along the equator right here, but there's also a cooler airflow coming out from the Tasman Sea. If you live in Queensland, you'll be noticing that cooler airflow for the last few days, but New Caledonia, Vanuatu also getting that slightly cooler airflow, and even, well, Tonga's on the edge of it, but you're just slightly in that zone to get that slightly cooler airflow, but there's also a warmer airflow in that area as well. So let's try and break this all down for you, kicking off with Wednesday's setup, which of course is Tuesday if you're watching in the Northern Hemisphere, at least over towards Hawaii. So we've got pretty much quiet weather carrying on, just a few showers really through most of the island group, but you can see this large area of low pressure. It goes from the Solomon Islands, from Honiara, the capital, all the way out to the Eastern Islands there. So it's going to be very wet north of Fiji, but for now, on Wednesday, fairly dry. Now on Thursday, that rain drops further south. So if you're in Samoa, you'll be getting a wetter day. Now the red line on the map, this one here, that measures air thickness. So it's usually up to the north here, close to the equator, and as we go through to summer, it drops further down. Now this is a sign of truly tropical weather. So Fiji, you're now inside that line, it's dropped down over you. Tonga, you're on the southern side of it, more on the cooler airflow from the New Zealand side. Same story with Niue and the Cook Islands. As we go through next week, that red line doesn't move a great deal. In fact, it might even slide a little bit further back northwards for a time. But again, Samoa, Fiji, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, they're all in that very tropical area, and that low continues to deepen. It's right on the equator, that low pressure zone that's forming. And that's going to make something a little bit interesting, which I'll show you in a moment. But as we get through to the weekend, some heavy rain here sliding down towards Tonga and towards Niue. There could be some thunderstorms in there. Not so bad for Fiji, but still pretty humid with those afternoon thundery downpours expected. And pretty dry if you're out towards Tahiti at the moment. Just a few light showers there. Similar story with the Cook Islands. And it stays that way on Sunday as well. Fairly dry, hotter weather though, just around Tahiti. And then that red line drops down now further over Tonga and Niue. So very hot and tropical. Borderline though for Fiji. Now let's take a look at this low here on Monday, because this is where things get a little interesting. If you've ever wondered where precisely the equator is, this shows you, because we've got two low pressure zones here and they're spinning in opposite directions. So once you get just north of Nauru, that's where you get low pressure spinning the other direction. So Nauru is the just south of the equator, so they're on the southern hemisphere. So this low is spinning clockwise, that one is anti-clockwise. For those of you who have watched the old Simpsons episode where Bart flushes the toilet and then he rings up Australia, Tobias, and they flush the toilet in Australia. One of the best Simpsons episodes ever. I loved their Aussie accents, by the way. Well, basically, that's what they were talking about. You know, the Northern Hemisphere, it flushes the different direction. It's the Coriolis effect is also spinning these lows. So we'll be watching them with interest. This one here is obviously the one that comes into Vanuatu next week. It's not locked in as a storm yet. It's too early to do that. But as you can see from this animated wind map, there is the chance there of a tropical cyclone and another storm to the north. We don't have to worry about that one in the southern hemisphere, but that just shows you it's an active zone as we go into the start of next week. Let's have a look at the northern hemisphere properly now, and it's stormy, as you would expect for the north. We do this so you can keep an eye on Honolulu, Hawaii, which is pretty much traditional easterly winds blowing through there and a few showers, nothing too major. But the big storms up here around the Aleutian Islands, around the southern part of Russia, and the top part of Japan there, a sign that we are heading towards winter in the northern hemisphere. And big storms like this are all part of it. And of course, they then come down to the Pacific Northwest of America and around British Columbia. So it's an exciting time if you're a weather nerd tracking those storms at the moment. That is all from me. Just before I go, we take a look at the rainfall across the entire Pacific Ocean to make sense of everything I just said. So the area that you're most concerned about with the heavy rain, dark blue with the purple next to it. light blue with the green next to it, that is light rain. So this is the area you've got to think about. So that's around here, north of Tonga, south of Samoa, north of Fiji. But you see here, Vanuatu to the Solomon Islands, that's the area where that very heavy rain may end up falling. And Honolulu, blue and green, bottom of the scale, just a few showers there. That is all from me for your 7-day Pacific Islands forecast. We absolutely love bringing this to you every single Tuesday at WeatherWatchTV on YouTube. We'll catch you next Tuesday. And then this Thursday, we've got our Australian update as well. So we will see you then.